with my mom, and then I was in mission in Mason, missionary for a partner of mine that passed away. Yeah, they buried her in Mason, so that's a good spot. It's right there. Oh, really?
It's a good cemetery in Mason.
So that is a beautiful section. It says
They used to have the dry goods store and grocery store years ago.
You ever been to a football game in Mason at that Butcher Stadium?
I have not.
You have to go over there.
Yeah, it's not going to the right thing.
We need to check it out. Mason, that's your family. What was the name of the grocery store?
Well, it was Lindbergh is the family name.
Yeah,
It's right there.
When your great grandfather tried to fly. That is so good. That's the favorite.
I'm not gonna start out. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to coffee hour and this seems very loud. Coffee hour and adult formation. Please continue to get your food and drink and settle in so that we can start our program. We've got some great speakers today, and yes.
Yes.
Just kidding. Okay, so here we are. So it is Black History Month. February is Black History Month. And so we thought it might be important to turn our focus to some organizations that are doing some good work with racial justice. And we don't have to look very far. The Union of Black Episcopalians is it a national or an international? I thought it would be international. It's an international organization. We're going to learn more about them. And One Human Race is a local organization, and we're going to hear more about them. So our speakers today hail from the big city of Austin. And I know you've been here. Have you been here, Teresa? So this is Teresa Chang, and she is the coordinator of One Human Race. She's going to tell us more about that. This is her first visit to Calvary, so she gets to experience our warm welcome and our beautiful decorations. It's not always decorated like this, but it is. It's Mardi Gras season. So, and then Rona Williams London, who is the president of the Myra McDaniel chapter of the Union of Black Episcopalians. So we are going to hear from them and see some slides, and let's give them a good Calvary welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be with you again. I enjoyed worshiping with you as the guest of Lisa Bortner and Tobin Bortner, who were gracious enough to ask me to come and visit with you. We were here in this fellowship hall doing worship then, right? So I was so glad to be able to come back to join you so that I can come and worship with you in the big place, right? So it is so good to be in community with you. Thank you for having us join you today. The Union of Black Episcopalians is represents parishes throughout Central Texas. So we have not only St. James, which is what we call our regional home, but we have members from various congregations, including Lisa Bortner, who is our corresponding secretary. And so Calvary Bastrop is a part of the family. We are so grateful to have her participation and her support of our organization. UBE was established in 1968, and it stands on the shoulders of people of African descent who dedicated themselves to ministry and representation in the Episcopal Church over the past 200 plus years. We're comprised of more than 55 chapters and interest groups throughout the continental United States and the Caribbean. Also, we have members in Canada, Africa, and Latin America. Our chapter, the Myra McDaniel chapter, was chartered in 2013, so we just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. We are named for the first person of African descent to serve as Texas Secretary of State. As I mentioned, we are comprised of members from Episcopal churches throughout Central Texas, and we build on the work of the national UBE through education about the contribution of people of African descent to the Episcopal Church, creating a community of those with lived experience as people of color and also allies, building participation of youth of African descent in the church, and working toward social and racial justice. Now, part of our work is One Human Race, which is our racial reconciliation ministry. And so for that part, I would like to turn the mic over to Teresa Chang.
Good morning, Calvary.
Good morning.
It is so nice to meet all of you. I had the pleasure of being with Reverend Matt and Reverend Amy on pilgrimage to Alabama. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So, fine thing. All right, so One Human Race provides a safe, open, and productive place to learn and share about racism. We are an all-volunteer program. We are free and open to the public. We don't charge for anything. And we're funded by individual donations and most importantly by our good friends at the Episcopal Health Foundation. We're available in person throughout the Diocese of Texas. Yes, we do travel and beyond via Zoom. As a matter of fact, this year we are going to Longview, Tyler, and Fort Worth so far.
Wow.
So yeah, we're on the move. We're not just in Austin anymore. So here's how our program works. It's not really about what we do, it's about how we do it. We strive to serve our participants with humility, vulnerability, and openness. We create a foundation of common knowledge. We provide a safe place to share thoughts, feelings, and experiences with people of different backgrounds. We do this by having conversation agreements and by using mutual invitation. Is anybody familiar with mutual invitation? Don't use that? Okay, couple. We model an equitable power structure by using racially diverse teams of facilitators. We use timekeepers and mutual invitations in our groups to make sure that everyone has a chance to share and no one dominates the discussion. We model a healthy multicultural community through our volunteer corps, who are all dedicated and fabulous people. We arm our participants with concepts that they can use in their own communities. And then we continue the community through our private Facebook group. So if you come to one of our events, you will be invited to join our Facebook. So we arose organically from St. James Episcopal in Austin, from a time when St. James was becoming much more integrated. And we needed a way to do this work in our own community so that we could become a multicultural community. So Ms. Orr Houston, some of you may know her name, she started all this off. We kept doing it, and in 2012, we became a ministry of the Myra McDaniel chapter when that chapter was founded. In 2014, my friend Sandy Matisse, who has since passed and was a co-founder, decided that we needed a website and a name and to make this a real organization. So in 2014, we became One Human Race. All right, since then, we've presented for more than 24 churches and other organizations. We are happy to go to anyone who wants us. You don't have to be a church. You don't have to be an Episcopal church. We've been to elementary schools. We've been to the Seminary of the Southwest. We go where we're invited. We've reached hundreds of participants. We've maintained our strong, active volunteer base, and we've received regular grants from EHF. There are a couple of quotes from our 2023 participants. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong slide. I missed one. That's okay. We're gonna go out of order. That's fine. All right. Okay, so going back, these are our programs. So our original One Human Race workshop is pretty much all day. We have condensed it a little bit. So instead of 9 to 5, now it's going to be 9 to 4. So that makes it much more doable, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We view Race the Power of Illusion in 40-minute segments. After each segment, we share in small groups. We have presentations about racial concepts also in between, from how to be an anti-racist and white fragility. And yeah, so that's our main offering. This doesn't really apply to you, but we also have the Austin Story. This is an evening program that usually has a panel discussion with community leaders. I mention it to you because every place has a story, right? Every place has a history that has been at least partially buried. So you too can do the Bastrop story. And if you need any help with that, we are glad to help you out. We do book and film studies. We usually do a couple of those a year. And we also are now, one of our film studies has turned into a new offering. The film we based that on is called Who We Are. It is a brilliant documentary. So we can bring that to you. It is 5 hours, including food. So it's not quite as much of a commitment as the whole workshop, but we do really recommend that highly. All right, so what do you do if you want to host a One Human Race event at your church or organization? You email onehumanraceaustin@gmail.com. I answer your email, we choose a date. I send you materials to publicize. Usually there's food involved, so your organization would be in charge of ordering and serving food of some kind. Then you keep your receipts and you send them to the Episcopal Health Foundation and they give you your money back. Good deal. So that's really all there is to it. There's no charge to host or attend. We appreciate donations, but we are here to serve anyone in the Diocese of Texas. Thanks.
Thank you.
Teresa is a tremendous leader for One Human Race. I mentioned earlier that we celebrated our 10th anniversary and the founding of our 10th anniversary. We celebrated the life and legacy of Myra McDaniel at our annual commemoration of Justice Thurgood Marshall. We shared reflections on Myra, as she'd like to be called, at our chapter meeting that was held at St. David's in Austin. And at St. James, which I mentioned is our regional home, we presented for dedication a portrait of Myra McDaniel during the UBE worship. Absalom Jones, which is coming up, hopefully Calvary Bastrop will be able to participate in that. But last year we held a panel discussion on health disparities, and that was participated. There was a panel that comprised of the Austin Travis County Public Health Authority and also a representative from the Episcopal Health Foundation. We also attended the Seminary of the Southwest Black Alumni Dinner during Black History Month. We attended the dedication of a new stained glass window at All Saints in Austin, honoring Absalom Jones and Jonathan Myrick Daniels, who was the martyred Episcopalian seminarian during the Civil Rights Movement. And that window replaced one depicting Robert E. Lee. And we organized and attended Kwanzaa event at the Carver Museum in Austin. You've heard about the One Human Race, racial reconciliation ministry of our chapter. And you see, we reached 136 attendees last year. The chapter in One Human Race also did a joint presentation introducing ourselves at Good Shepherd's Wednesday on Windsor Adult Formation, similar to the presentation that we're doing for you today. Over the past several years, the chapter has been involved actively in voter engagement, and chapter members served as volunteers with a host of other initiatives in and out of throughout the community, including Neighbor to Neighbor, which provides social services and assistance to underserved seniors and people of color who are neighbors on the east side of Austin, and the Trinity Center, which provides services and worship support to those who are experiencing homelessness. Among our extracurricular activities, several of us attended the National Annual Business Meeting of the National UBE in Montgomery. And the chapter and individual members were among sponsors and attendees of the Texas Pauli Murray Scholarship event. And a few organizational housekeeping kinds of things that we took care of. We aligned our bylaws at the chapter level with the national offices. And we also developed a strategic framework for our 2024 priorities. We are off to a good start in this new year. Just yesterday, we hosted a presentation on the Freedom Colonies by Ms. Doris Williams of the Bastrop African American Cultural Center. And we are planning more robust programming throughout the year, including in May, when we commemorate the life and legacy of Justice Thurgood Marshall. At that time, we are looking forward to a presentation from the members at All Saints in Austin to hear about the work that they are doing with racial healing. And we're also going to have a panel discussion. A couple of people here in the audience went on a pilgrimage to Alabama to the civil rights sites. Teresa was one of those. Amy was one of those. And Father Matt was one of those. And we are so pleased that Father Matt has decided to accept our invitation to come and share that experience with us. Thank you again, Father Matt. We're ramping up our voter engagement in preparation for the presidential election. We will involve our volunteers with doing voter registration and also voter education. A lot of laws have changed in Texas, and so it's important to get information out so people are well informed and know what they need to take with them to the polls and how to get the information they need for where to go and vote and things of that nature. So we'll have a more expansive program, I hope, this year. Teresa's already mentioned that One Human Race is going to be on the road. We're going to be in Longview, Fort Worth, and Tyler. And our chapter members continue to serve as volunteers with Neighbor to Neighbor, Trinity Center, and many other organizations. And just to make something clear, we are the Union of Black Episcopalians, but all Episcopalians are welcome, because the work that we are doing is not just work to be shouldered by one group of people, but rather allies as well. And so we welcome your participation through membership, through hosting One Human Race workshops, book studies, participating in the book studies. All are welcome. Thank you for making us feel so welcome, and we're available to answer any questions. Do we have a couple of minutes? We're happy to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Good morning.
Do we still have a AME church here in Bastrop?
I'm going to turn that over to your clergy. I think they probably know who the neighbors are.
We do, yeah, the Paul Quinn AME Church, it's right around the corner, and
Okay.
Mhm. Yes, so a little history there. Absalom Jones is coming up, Sunday is coming up. Absalom Jones was the first priest of African descent in the Episcopal Church. And his good friend was Richard Allen, who was the founder of the AME Church. And both of these gentlemen did a lot of work in the Philadelphia area during the plague that had hit in that area. They were going and providing service and helping tend to the sick when other professionals of the medical community would not work with them. And they also developed a mutual aid society that would help the freed Blacks who were living in Philadelphia, widows, orphans, and others, to get on their feet and be able to move forward with their lives in this new environment. So thank you for that question. And another, yes, please.
I had seen a Facebook post, and I don't have the dates, that the Georgetown Palace Theater is doing a play called Thorogood on the life of Thorogood Martin. Just in case anyone wants to research that further.
Thank you. I didn't know about that either, so that's great to know.
Can you?
Oh, repeat. Yes. Yes, so I understand that there is going to be a play at the Georgetown Theater in Georgetown. Is that correct? Oh, the Palace Theater, yes, the Georgetown Palace Theater, on the life of Thurgood Marshall, Justice Thurgood Marshall, so, great. I think there's also a movie on Netflix, if you have Netflix, and I think it's called Marshall, so that's another way to see the life and legacy of Justice Marshall. Am I missing anyone?
I have a question.
Yes.
For the book study, are those, do y'all pick the book and then facilitate the conversation, or how does that work?
Yes, that is what we do, although they're usually film studies these days because we find that people don't actually read books. But yeah, so these days we pick the film, we get you together, we show you the film, we feed you some pizza, and then we talk about it. Yeah.
I just love all of the different offerings that One Human Race has, as far as just different, to me, kind of where congregations and groups are.
Yeah.
That's, and I didn't know such a variety.
Yeah.
Which is really great.
Yeah, thank you. Our volunteers come up with that. We meet with our volunteers a couple of times a year, just to brainstorm, you know, what's working, what's not working, what do people seem to need right now? And we use that feedback to amend or add to our programming as needed. So, yeah, thank you.
Anything else? On that play, I just looked it up, and it's at the Georgetown Playhouse on Austin Avenue from January 26th to February 18th.
All right, could everybody hear that? Okay, yeah, January 26th to February 18th. Yeah.
One thing I think that's really neat that you mentioned, maybe I should take my own advice. I just saw this thing, this meme on Facebook that said something like, if you think you have a microphone voice and you don't need the microphone, you still need the microphone. So I guess I should have used the microphone. No, I wanted to mention that you mentioned Doris Williams, and she came, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and presented about the freedom colonies here. And it was so, it was such a great presentation. She brought all kinds of picture boards and artifacts. And so we were introduced, some of us, for the first time to that concept. So I appreciate you sort of making reference to that. This is all of one piece. Our sort of 4-week series that got interrupted by our annual parish meeting last week. And next week, Father Matt and I are going to talk about our racial justice pilgrimage. So kind of starting with the Martin Luther King week, and then the Freedom Colonies week, and then today, and then next week is our sort of series on just trying to do a better job of being educated about racial concerns and issues, and how we can find the tools to be good allies. So thank you so much for coming, and I know that y'all would love to visit with people. If y'all want to just come up and have conversations and just see what else we can learn and grow. So let's give them a big Calvary. Don't forget the Foyers thing tonight at 5 p.m. here. Okay, thank you.